You're listening to WXR or whatever's left of it, broadcasting from a tiny booth that smells like dust and warm plastic. My name's Cal, and if you're hearing this, it means the transmitter's still running and the power hasn't blinked out again. That's a miracle, honestly. We've had brownouts for the last 48 hours. Every other hour, the grid hiccups like it's trying to sleep but can't quite make it. Kinda like all of us. Now, I know why you're tuned in. Same reason I keep. Talking, probably. It's not just about news anymore. It's not about traffic reports or the weather or, hell, even music. It's about voices. Human voices. That little comfort of knowing someone else is out there, still breathing, still awake. And we're all still awake, aren't we? It's been 3 days since the sun stopped moving. Or, it moved and then it didn't. Hard to say. I remember the moment I noticed, standing on the station steps with a cup of bad coffee, looking at the sky like I always do when I need to stall before doing anything useful. It was just past 6. I thought, damn, what a sunset. But the thing is, it didn't end. The orange never faded. The clouds just froze in that perfect slow ripple, like they were mid-stretch and forgot what came next. And then the hours kept passing, and the light just stayed. At first, it was beautiful. Everyone was outside. Kids in the streets with popsicles, folks walking their dogs past midnight just because they could. It felt like nature was offering us a gift. A little pause. Some folks thought it was a fluke of the atmosphere, a light dome, or auroral echo. I read that phrase off a news ticker, so it's probably garbage, but it sounded official, enough to keep people calm. Phones kept ringing at the station. Not panicked, not yet. Mostly curious callers asking if we knew what was happening. I told them what I knew, which wasn't much, and they laughed, nervous and grateful to hear something. Besides silence. I even played a few songs. Seemed to help. But around the 20-hour mark, yeah, we were counting, people started getting twitchy. Restaurants couldn't tell when to close. Sleep schedules slipped. I got calls from nurses who couldn't convince patients to rest. A guy phoned in to say his rooster wouldn't crow and his goats just stared at the horizon all morning, as if waiting for something that never showed up. He kept saying, "They know something. They feel it." And I didn't want to believe it then, but I'm starting to wonder if he was right. I haven't slept in over a day myself. It's not that I'm not tired. I am. I feel it behind my eyes, like gravity pressing in. But when I lie down, it's like my body forgets how. There's this constant buzz in the air, like something's about to happen, or already has. And the light, God, the light, it's not golden anymore. It's flat, bright, but in that too clean way that makes your skin itch, like the world got overexposed. I keep thinking about time, how we built everything around it. Alarm clocks, school bells, streetlights on timers, even meals. And now that the sun won't set, none of it means anything. The town's clocks are still ticking, but they feel more like wind-up toys than truth. A few folks smashed theirs, said it made them feel better, and here I am, still reading the same news bulletin from 3 days ago, pretending it's current, still telling you, more updates as they come, as if something's going. To fix this, maybe it will. Maybe by the time I finish this broadcast, the sun'll dip, the stars'll blink in, and we'll all laugh about how weird it was. But then again, maybe not. If you're listening, I'd love to hear how it looks where you are. Call in. Write. If you can, just tell me you see it too. Tell me it's still the same sun. I'll be right here. It's been, 5 days now? Maybe 6? I'm not sure anymore. I've stopped counting hours. My phone battery died 2 days back and the wall clocks here just tick like they're pretending, like they're trying to keep the lie alive. The light hasn't changed once, not even a shade darker. Still, that fixed, cold daylight, pressing down on everything like a weight. No shadows shifting, no cool breeze rising from dusk. No soft blue trailing into black. I walked to the diner yesterday, or what used to be the diner. It's closed, of course, but old habits make you go places, right? You find yourself thinking, maybe coffee would help, and then you remember there's nobody behind the counter anymore. The streets were empty, just a few folks standing on their porches or sitting in their cars, not really doing anything, just looking. I passed by Mrs. Kleeman's house. She always used to put up a sun hat scarecrow in her garden every spring. It's still out there, faded and tilted, only now the scarecrow has a real shadow behind it. A bigger one. One that shouldn't be there if the light's coming from the angle it is. I didn't stop walking. People have started doing weird things to block the light. Aluminum foil over windows. Blankets tacked up. I saw a guy a few blocks over hammering. Black trash bags to every square inch of his front door. Didn't say anything. Just looked through me like I was fog on a windshield and went back to hammering. Everyone's trying to make darkness any way they can. Some are saying it's the only way to sleep now, but I think it's more than that. I think they're scared of what they're starting to see in the light. There was a story on the emergency broadcast channel for a little while before it cut out. Some scientist from the Naval Observatory, Dr. Rios, I think. She sounded rattled. Said they were trying to track solar position, but all their instruments had stopped updating. The sun was technically still there, but nothing registered movement. They tried recalibrating and the numbers looped. The sun was fixed, not just in our sky, but in the math. One of her team asked, "Is the Earth still spinning?" And then she went silent for a long time before the feed cut out completely. Just static now. I keep thinking about that question. If the Earth isn't spinning, what does that mean? What else would have to stop for that to happen? Tides, wind, magnetism, gravity? I don't know. I'm not a physicist. I run a radio station that mostly played bluegrass and weather updates. Until this happened. I used to worry about ad revenue and dead air. Now I worry about whether the sun will ever move again. I read a note on the station door this morning. Someone taped it up overnight. It was scribbled on the back of a receipt and just said, "Keep talking, don't sleep, watch the corners." That was it. No name. Just those words. I'm starting to understand why a few people have mentioned things. Soft, tentative voices on shortwave. There's a ham operator in Columbus who said his dog won't go outside anymore, not even to pee. He said she growled at her own shadow, barked like it was something alive. Another guy from up north said his kid kept asking why the shadows looked sharper now, like they've got edges that cut. I haven't seen anything myself, not really, but I've got this feeling, like I'm not alone when I walk through the station. I keep catching motion in the glass of the booth, just quick flickers in the edge of my vision. But when I turn, there's nothing. I even taped up half the windows with old album covers. It makes the room feel like it's wrapped in skin. Tight and warm and not quite right, but better than feeling like the light's always watching. I tried to sleep last night, even just for a moment. Put a towel over my face, took an old sleeping pill I found in the first aid kit. Nothing. I laid there listening to my breath, counting it, waiting for dreams that never came. At some point I started hearing static, like a faint hiss. I thought maybe the speakers were acting up, but they were off. The board was off. Everything was off. Except the sound didn't stop. I think the light hums now. Not loud, not all the time, but it's there. And if you sit in silence long enough, if you listen, it's like something alive is breathing behind the glow. Maybe we've stayed in the light too long. Maybe night was meant to cleanse something, reset the mind, let things cool. Maybe we weren't made for constant clarity. Or maybe this isn't clarity at all. I'll be back in a bit. Don't go too far. Don't stand too still. And whatever you do, try not to stare at your shadow too long. I'm not sure what time it is anymore, or what day. The station calendar still says Tuesday, but I'm fairly certain we've gone well past that. The sun, if we can even call it that anymore, hasn't shifted in the sky once. I think I've memorized every vein and every cloud above the tree line. They just hang there like they were painted on glass. And maybe they are. There was something strange this morning. I stepped outside just for a minute, just to breathe air that didn't smell like wires and old coffee. The world looked brittle. That's the only word I can find for it. Brittle. Like if I touched anything too hard, it would snap. Even the trees looked stiff, leaves dry even though it rained, 4 days ago? 5? But that's not what shook me. There's a lamppost at the end of the station drive. It's always been there, bent a little to the left, paint flaking. I've passed it 100 times, but today, as I stood on the step, I noticed its shadow was wrong. It stretched west instead of east, and not slightly, completely reversed. The sun, or whatever's burning above us, still hung in the same place, but the shadow had changed direction, like it had made a choice. I stared at it for a long time. Too long. I felt not watched exactly, more like noticed. Like when you look at something for so long it starts looking back. My mouth went dry. I took a step forward and I swear to you, the shadow twitched. Just the tiniest flick like a ripple in deep water. I turned around and came back. Inside. Lock the door behind me, it's probably nothing, right? Just exhaustion. A trick of the eye. But it didn't feel like a trick. It felt deliberate. People are seeing things. I'm getting fewer calls now, but the ones that come through, they're different. Frayed voices. Quiet, like they're hiding. One woman whispered the whole time. Said her reflection in the hallway mirror blinked when she didn't. Another guy said he caught his own shadow staring at him from the hallway wall, even though he was sitting still. He sounded drunk, but maybe he wasn't. And I got this message yesterday. Written, not called in. Found it slid under the door again. Same handwriting as before. It just said, "It's not your shadow anymore. Don't let it touch you." I keep thinking about that. Not your shadow. If it's not mine, whose is it? You know, there's this old joke I used to tell back in college, back when I thought being on the radio would be a hobby. A shadow is just where the light gives up. Funny, right? Now it doesn't feel so funny. Now I wonder if that's true. Maybe the light is giving up? Or maybe the shadows are just stepping in where it slips. I tried an experiment this afternoon, sat in front of the board, turned on all the studio lights, lined them up just so. I moved my hand, slowly, and watched the shadows on the floor. One of them was slower than the others. A half-second delay, just enough to catch. Then it snapped into place. I didn't move again for 5 minutes. There's a report, a sort of journal entry, I guess, from the observatory up near Pine Lake. A guy named Richard Hale, atmospheric technician. He wrote a bunch of entries during the early hours of the whatever this is. I've got them printed out here. Someone left them in the mail bin. The last page is the one that keeps getting stuck in my head. He wrote, "We've covered every mirror in the building, every shiny surface, even our watches. Something moves when we don't. We saw it first in the reflection of the coffee pot. It smiled. None of us were smiling." That was the last entry. No signature, no goodbye, just that. I don't know what's happening, but I know what it feels like. It feels like we're being worn thin, like our reality's fraying at the edges. Like there are rules we never knew we were following, and now that they're gone, something else is stepping in. I'm not sleeping much. I think that's clear by now. But I keep recording, keep broadcasting, keep this voice out there for as long as I can. Not because I think I can fix anything. Not because I think it matters, really. But because if I stop talking, I think the silence might open up and swallow me. If you're out there, check your shadow. Just once. Don't linger. Just check. And if it's wrong, if it doesn't look like you anymore, Go inside. Close your eyes. Wait. I don't know if that'll help, but I don't know what else to say. More soon. Keep the dial where it is. Keep listening. I've stopped pretending I can keep track of time. There's no point anymore. The clocks in here just tick out of habit, like old folks rocking on a porch with no one left to wave at. And I haven't slept in, God, I don't know. It feels like weeks. Feels like I'm dreaming with my eyes open, drifting through this endless light, this stale air. Every surface glows. Nothing cools down. The light gets into everything now. Under doors, through seams in the wall, around the edges of your eyes when you try to close them. I tried to eat today, opened one of the emergency ration packs we keep in the storeroom. Couldn't get more than a bite down. It tasted like dust. Not expired, just dead. Like it had been left out too long, even though the packaging was fine. Even food can't last in this light. It's not heat. No. That's the strange part. The air's still room temperature, but everything's drying, out, peeling at the edges. I keep catching myself staring at nothing. Not because there's something to look at, but because I forget I'm supposed to blink. Your mind starts slipping after a while. You catch yourself thinking in circles. You can hear it in my voice. I know. I can hear it too. Don't worry, I'm still here. Just fraying. Like the rest of the world. The town's changed. People don't talk much anymore. The ones still around don't really make eye contact. Everyone walks faster. Some wear sunglasses indoors, full blackout goggles like welders use. Others just sit in shadowed corners, rocking, whispering things I can't quite make out. And then there are the dark houses, the ones with every window blacked out, even, vents stuffed with cloth, doors sealed with duct tape. Those are the folks who don't come out anymore. Some of them built whole tents inside lined with blackout plastic. I know because one of them called in a few days ago. Well, before the phones gave out. Said she hadn't seen the light in 4 days. She sounded calm, which scared me more than if she'd been screaming. She said, "It's safer in the dark. You can hear them coming." I asked what she meant. She just said, "They don't like the dark, but they learn. They're learning to move inside it." Then the line went quiet. I haven't heard from her since. There's this idea that's been circling in my head. It started as a whisper, something I didn't want to look at directly. But I can't shake it now, so I'm going to say it out, loud. Maybe that'll break it. Maybe not. What if the light isn't staying still because something broke? What if it's staying because something wants it to? What if night was keeping something out? Or keeping something in? I know how it sounds. I do. I'm just a guy in a booth, not a prophet, not a priest, not a scientist. But things don't feel accidental anymore. I was walking past the church earlier. It's boarded up now, signs nailed to the doors. The sun is false. We were not meant to see this much. Someone carved a spiral into the wood. Deep, enough to draw blood. I don't know what they saw in there, or what they thought they saw. But I think about that spiral, how it pulls your eye inward, how it never ends. A loop, just like this light, just like time since the sun stopped moving. I found something in the records room earlier, an old journal belonged to the previous station manager. Nothing related to what's happening now, not really. But one line stood out. He wrote, "The radio's a kind of prayer. You speak into the void, not knowing who hears, trusting someone's out there." I think about that a lot these days. I don't know who's left to hear this. Maybe no one. Maybe just the shadows. But if you're still out there, if you found some corner of this broken world where the light hasn't reached, keep it. Protect it. We were meant to sleep. We were meant to rest. Not watch the sky forever. I'll be here as long as I can. Talking, watching, trying not to look too long at the walls because sometimes they shimmer. Just a little. Like something behind them is breathing. Don't stay in the open too long. Don't trust the light. It doesn't blink anymore. I don't open the door anymore. Not since yesterday or the day before, whatever that means now. The sunlight outside is too direct, like it's trying to get in. Not just through the windows, but under the skin, behind the eyes. Even with the blinds down, the walls feel translucent, like the light sees me, knows I'm in here, knows I'm talking to you. I've started hearing things I can't explain. Not voices, exactly. More like pressure. Footsteps where there shouldn't be any. A chair scraping across the lobby floor when I haven't left this booth. I thought it might be animals, or maybe a squatter, but no one's come up when I call. Out. And every time I go to check, the door's still locked. Nothing moved, nothing touched. Just silence. Just that humming brightness hanging over everything like a low ceiling. There's something across the street now. It's been there for hours, maybe more. Hard to say how long. I don't look directly. I can't. It stands in the shadow of the telephone pole, tall and still like part of the wood, like it's always been there. But I know it hasn't. I've lived in this town most of my life. That wasn't there. Not before all this. It doesn't move. That's the worst part. You'd think that would make it less frightening, right? That it just stands there. But stillness. It's unnatural when it goes on too long. It becomes a statement, a threat. I catch it sometimes out of the corner of my eye. A shape too solid. Legs slightly too long. Head tilted just enough to seem curious. Or listening. I can't bring myself to go to the window anymore. A man left a notebook here a few days ago. No name, just dropped it off and walked away before I could ask anything. Half of it is unreadable. Scribbles, ink smudges, frantic lines. But some pages are clear. He wrote about things he'd seen in the open. Shadows stretching wrong directions. People walking down the center of the road with their heads craned back. Mouths open wide like they were drinking the light. He wrote, "They watch from the still places. Not in mirrors, not anymore. In reflections that don't belong to you, glass darkens for them." That line stuck with me. Glass darkens for them. I think I know what he meant now. The bathroom. Mirror here. It's got this weird fog to it, like someone breathed on it and the breath never faded. When I looked into it earlier, I saw myself, but the me in the mirror wasn't moving. I blinked, and it didn't. I smiled, and it just stood there, staring. I turned away. Haven't looked since. I've taped a shirt over it. I think these things, these watchers, aren't just outside anymore. I think they're trying to get in, and not just into buildings, into us. I know that sounds unhinged, but I've started losing time. Little pieces here and there. I'll be mid-sentence, and suddenly I'm standing on the other side of the room, holding something I don't remember picking up. A mug, a pen. Once, the keys to the front door. I didn't open it. I don't think I did. If this is some kind of breakdown, it's not just mine. A lot of people are gone. Not missing in the usual sense, just disappeared. Vanished from homes, from street corners, from beds still rumpled and warm. And those who remain, they're quieter, duller, like something's been leached out of them, like they're watching themselves from the inside out. Some folks are starting to call them the hollow, like the light hollows people out, like it empties you of whatever made you you, and leaves just the echo, the shell. And the longer you stay in it, the more it takes. Maybe that's what the watchers are. Maybe they're us, just farther down the road. I try to keep the lights low in here, even though there's no night, no reprieve. I lit a candle earlier, just for the softness of it. That small flicker felt more human than all the fluorescence in the world. It cast a shadow on the wall, and for a moment, I believed. It was safe. Then it moved. I blew it out. If you're listening, if you're still here, find shade. Find something soft. Don't look too long at anything that holds still when everything else moves. And if you see something watching you from a place light shouldn't reach, don't wave, don't speak, just walk away and never look back. They notice when you notice. I can't remember the last time I saw a shadow. I mean a real one. Not those flickering tricks the light plays near the edges of your vision, but a true shadow, cast by something solid, obeying the rules of space and source. They're gone, now. Like they've been peeled away. The sun's still there, pinned high like a nail through the sky, but nothing responds to it anymore. No shapes, no silhouettes, just this sterile, flat exposure. It's been this way for, I don't know, how long? Time doesn't mean anything now. People don't say yesterday or tonight. There's no context, just the light and the long stretch of waking. I walked through town again. Not far, just enough to confirm what I already suspected. Windows are shattered in places, not broken exactly. More like unraveled. The glass has thinned, bowed outward, like it tried to pull away from the frame, and the streets are quieter than they should be. Not empty, no, but the people that are left, they move like their bodies are remembering how. Like they're actors between scenes, waiting for the next line, but it never comes. Eyes wide, unfocused, mouths slightly open. I nodded at a woman near the corner pharmacy, and she just blinked at me like she was hearing a sound she couldn't place. Some are gone. Not all at once. It's more like they thin out over time. One minute someone's there, your neighbor, a friend from school, and the next time you look, their house is open and hollow. Their voice is a vague shape in your memory. I went by Sam's workshop yesterday. The lights were still on, humming low, tools laid out like he'd just stepped away. But his truck was parked at a weird angle. Keys still in the ignition. Driver's door hanging open. Like he got out and forgot he existed. I'm scared that's what's happening to us. I keep finding myself talking to no one. Out loud. I catch myself mid-sentence, like I'm answering a question I didn't hear. Sometimes, I say something and immediately forget what it was, like the words dissolve in the air, like the air's too full of other voices for mine to take root. The light. It's not light anymore. Not in the sense we understood it. It doesn't illuminate. It consumes. You can't see deeper in it. You see less. Colors have faded. Greens are yellow now. Blues are gray. Faces blur at a distance. Even mirrors don't reflect anymore. They just glow faintly, as if trying to remember what they used to do. There's a theory I keep circling around. I haven't said it out loud until now. Maybe we didn't survive the change. Maybe something happened when the sun froze and time unraveled. Maybe we didn't make it through intact. Maybe we're echoes, soft imprints of memory and matter caught in a loop that forgot how to end. Or maybe something's trying to overwrite us. You ever try to trace over an old drawing too many times? The lines smear, the paper tears, and what's left isn't the picture you started with. It's something thinner, less defined. That's what this world feels like now, like we've been traced over too many times. And there's one more thing. I haven't told anyone this, but sometimes when I close my eyes, just for a second, I see something else. Not darkness, not dreams, just a horizon stretched endlessly, with the sun broken wide like an open wound. Not round, not gold, just a raw, jagged slit spilling white. And beneath it, shapes crawling. Not walking, crawling, dragging themselves across the light like they're being born from it. I don't know what they are. I don't know if they're already here. But I think the sun's not keeping them out anymore. I'll stay on the air as long as I can. I have to. I don't know who's left, but if you're hearing me, don't stop listening. Don't try to understand it all at once. Just keep going. Keep remembering your name. Keep your voice. I think that's the last thing they take. There's a stillness now, deeper than silence. It's not just quiet, it's vacant, like the world's been drained. And the people who are left, if you can still call them people, they don't speak much anymore. When they do, their words come out slow, like they're translating from something older, something rusted. You pass someone on the road, they look through you. Not past you, through you. Their eyes are still there, but they're not watching. They're recording. I've started calling it the bleaching. That's what it looks like the color's been pulled out of everything. Skin goes pale, lips lose their hue, hair lightens in a way that doesn't make sense. Not age, not stress, just faded. Washed out, like a photo left in the sun too long. But it's more than how people look. It's how they feel. You try talking to someone now and it's like shaking hands with a dream. They answer sometimes, but the words don't line up with their face. They speak like they're repeating phrases they heard somewhere else. I heard a kid muttering in front of the library steps. He just kept saying, "There's no weight in my thoughts. There's no weight in my thoughts," over and over, didn't blink. I don't think he even saw me. I don't know how to describe what's happening to them, only that it's spreading. I don't think it's contagious in the usual sense. It's more like the light soaks. The longer you're in it, the less there is of you. Personality gets thinned out. Memory goes fuzzy. People don't even seem to know what they've lost, like they've been hollowed gently, painlessly. I saw my own face in the dark glass of the vending machine last night. Not a mirror, not really. Just that curved surface, black like a lake. My reflection looked fine at first. Tired, sure. Gaunt, probably. But then I leaned in, and for just a second, the face didn't match the way I moved. It blinked wrong, smiled, even though I didn't. A small, dry smile, like it knew something I didn't. I punched the glass, cut my hand open. The machine stayed dark. I've been reading through the papers people left behind. Old notes, clipped diary pages, messages scrawled in the margins of books. One stuck with me. It was written on the back of a receipt for motor oil. In tidy cursive, someone had written, "The light doesn't show things. It erases them. Slowly, lovingly." That last word hit me harder than it should have. Lovingly. Like the light thinks it's doing us a favor. Like it's comforting us into oblivion. And maybe it is. Maybe that's the whole point. We're being smoothed down, ironed flat, until there's nothing left but brightness. There's less resistance now, less fighting. People have stopped trying to escape it, stopped taping up windows or building blackout shelters. They just sit in it. Let it wash over them. I passed a man in the park lying on the ground in the same clothes he's been wearing all week. His mouth was open, eyes wide. Not dead, just absent. He was breathing, but not deeply. Shallow, like it didn't matter. I said his name. He didn't blink. I left him there. The scariest part? I understand why. The light isn't cruel. That would be easier. This isn't about pain. It's about stillness. It's about letting go so completely that nothing inside you is left to hold on. And if you resist too long, if you stay awake too hard, that's when the shadows come. That's when the watchers crawl back in, not to attack, but to finish the job, to gently press a hand on your shoulder and say, "Shh, it's okay now. I can feel it working on me." The fatigue isn't physical anymore. It's in my thoughts. Words come slower. Sentences trail off. Sometimes I forget I'm on the air, forget why I'm talking, but then I remember. Someone might be listening. Someone might still be themselves. So I talk. I keep my voice sharp. I say names out loud. I recite radio frequencies like prayer beads. I fight the soft drift. I light candles, even though they don't cast real shadows anymore. If you're still out there, if you still remember who you were, say your name, right now, out loud. Doesn't matter if anyone hears it. Doesn't matter if you're alone. Just say it. Remind the world you haven't been erased yet. We're still here. I'm still here for now. There's no sound anymore. Not the kind you notice, not right away. But once it sinks in, once your ears stop straining for cars, for voices, for the low rattle of wind through trees, you can't unhear it. It's not silence like peace. It's silence like after the impact, after the scream. It's a wrong kind of quiet, the kind that makes your skull feel too empty. The birds are gone. I didn't even notice at first. One day they were flitting around the station antenna, and then nothing. No chirps, no wings, no fluttering from the wires, just stillness, like they were plucked out, like they were never real to begin with. And it's not just birds. No dogs barking, no crickets, no rustling leaves. I even drove out to the lake, had to see it for myself, and the water was like glass. Not a ripple, not a sound, as if the whole world decided to hold its breath at once. And the radio. That's the part I can't stop thinking about. We used to get interference now and then. Static, hums, little bleed-ins from other stations during storms. But lately, there's been something else. Not white noise, not random, more like voices, layered low under the static. Not clear enough to understand, not even clear enough to know if they're real, but you feel them. Like someone's whispering on the other side of the glass, mouths, pressed just inches from your ears, speaking in languages made from rhythm and breath. I turned the receiver dial slowly last night. Scanned every band. Most are empty now. Dead channels, nothing but the pale hiss. But some hold tones. Chimes, almost, repeating patterns like coded lullabies, and in between them, buried deep, more voices. Sometimes laughter, sometimes crying, or maybe just air moving through something that used to be lungs. I recorded one of them, just one, played it back on a loop for hours, trying to pick out a word, a phrase, anything. And somewhere, around, the sixth repeat, I heard my own name. I stopped the tape. Could have been coincidence. Could have been a trick of audio decay, a false signal bouncing off the ruins of towers. Or maybe, and this is the part I can't let go, maybe something's listening back. Maybe the broadcast isn't going out. Maybe it's drawing something in. What if we're not transmitting to anyone? What if we're tracing signals for them? Beacons, invitations, prayers from a dying frequency asking to be answered. And now they are. I've started to unplug the auxiliary channels at night, shut down the external antenna. Not because I think it'll stop them, but because I need to believe I still have control over something. I check the signal logs every morning, and they're always the same. Loops within loops. Transmissions that never stop, never start. No origin point, just presence. A listener, what's left of one, left a note outside the building, scribbled on a piece of grocery cardboard. It said, "The signal isn't coming from here. It's not bouncing off the ionosphere. It's bleeding in from beneath." No explanation, no return address, just those words, bleeding in from beneath. There are nights now, well, stretches, that I think I hear the voices inside the station, not over the airwaves. Breathing down hallways, that shouldn't echo. Faint tapping behind sealed doors. I've started keeping the lights dim, not because I'm afraid of what I'll see, but because I think it makes it harder for them to see me. I don't think we were meant to speak for this long. Not without silence, not without rest. Maybe voices need the dark to survive. Like roots, need soil, not sun. Maybe this much light kills words, hollows them out. Maybe that's why people are getting quieter. Maybe that's why I'm the only one still talking. I don't know how much longer I can keep this going. The booth feels smaller every day, like the soundproofing's closing in, trying to hush me from the inside. But I'm still here, still talking, still refusing to go quiet. If you hear anything strange on the radio, anything that sounds like me, but not quite, don't respond. Don't engage. Don't believe it. I don't know what those voices are, but I know I haven't asked you to come find me. Not yet. Keep your radios low, keep your thoughts louder, and above all, if the silence starts to sound familiar, turn it off. Walk away. I'll keep the light on, for now. Something changed last night. Or, no, not night. Just a shift. A threshold. You know that feeling when the temperature drops right before a storm, even if there's no wind? That pressure on your chest? That silence that's too full? That's what it felt like. Like the air itself had moved closer. I was dozing in the chair, couldn't sleep, not really, but my eyes closed for longer than a blink. And then I heard it. Not a voice, not this time. A tapping, steady, soft, too deliberate to be wind. It was coming from the front window, the one I've kept covered with newspaper and duct tape since this all began, the one I swore I'd never open again. I didn't move at first, just sat there listening. Tap, pause, tap, tap, pause, like it was thinking between each knock, like it was waiting for me to answer. I don't know why I did it. I'm not even sure I remember the moment I stood up. It's like part of me unlatched. I peeled back the edge of the paper just enough to see through. There was nothing there. No person, no figure, just the light, brighter than ever, and the road outside washed so clean by that endless shine that it looked artificial. But something had changed. The horizon was wrong. It wasn't sky. Not anymore. I don't know how to describe it. The trees still stood, the hills still rolled, but beyond that, it was like the world had been torn open. The light wasn't a source anymore, it was a wound, a seam pulled too far, and through it I could see shapes, not like anything that belongs in sunlight, not people, not animals, just movement, shimmering distortions, as if something on the other side had learned how to crawl, like it had never had bodies before but wanted to try. I closed the paper, taped it down again, didn't look back. The tapping didn't come again. Since then, everything feels thinner. The station walls creak when I breathe. The floor buzzes under my feet like there's power running through the building, even when the breakers are off. And the air, it hums. Not a sound, not exactly. A texture, like 1,000 tiny wires strung tight around your skin. The boundaries are breaking. I don't think the world is stable anymore. I don't think this light is ours. I had a dream, or something like it. I was standing in the field behind the station. Grass dead, sky blank, sun stuck in that same dead angle. But there was someone else, not watching me, not threatening, just waiting. Head cocked, mouth closed, no eyes. And they reached out. A hand, not to hurt me, just to show me something. Behind them, the sky peeled open again, wider this time. And inside, it wasn't void. It was crowded, not with things but with presence. Like every sound we've ever made had collected there. Every scream, every whisper, every moment of hesitation that went unheard. They've all been listening. I woke up with blood on my pillow. Just a nosebleed, I think. But still, a mark, a signal. There's a kind of acceptance crawling up in me now. Not peace exactly, not fear either. Just this sense that whatever's waiting, at the edge of this light isn't interested in destruction. It wants understanding, or merging, maybe even invitation. Maybe the light isn't showing us what's wrong. It's trying to show us what we really are. But if that's true, why does it feel like every word I say gets eaten? Why do I feel smaller every time I broadcast? Why does my reflection look more confident than I do? I don't have answers, just instinct. And that instinct says something's coming. The tapping was the start. The sky tearing open was the next step. And now I think we're standing at the doorway to something so old it forgot how to speak. If you're listening, if you're still you, don't go outside. Don't go toward the light, no matter how long it's been since you saw dark. Darkness was safety. Night was shelter. This new world doesn't have either. Not yet. I'll be here until the door opens all the way, or until the light remembers my name. I don't know if I'm still broadcasting. I'm talking, I know that much. My mouth's moving, my throat still works. I can hear my own breath in the mic, but I don't hear anything on the return feed. No hiss, no echo, just absence, like the signal's falling into a well that never hits bottom. But I keep going. Maybe it's a habit now. Maybe it's hope. Maybe this is all I have left to anchor me here. The booth looks the same. Everything in its place. But it feels wrong, like it's a set on a stage that was abandoned mid-performance. I keep expecting to see the audience watching through the glass. Just shadows in the seats, not clapping, not breathing. Just there. Observing. The sun's still up. Of course it is, it always is, but it doesn't burn anymore. Doesn't even really shine. It just is. Fixed. Like a frozen scream in the sky. The world isn't under sunlight now. It's under exposure. Bleached, stained, unreal. There's no warmth to it, no life, just clarity that goes too deep. A clarity that starts peeling away the layers you didn't know were hiding you. I used to think there'd be a breaking point, that the light would finally shatter, that it couldn't hold forever. But now I think that was wishful thinking. This isn't a mistake. It's not a glitch. This is what comes after everything's finished changing. The people who are left, they don't talk. They don't need to. Some have forgotten how. Others just mouth the words without sound, like they're syncing to a script only they can hear. I passed one of them yesterday. His skin was smooth, too smooth, like the texture had been ironed flat. No lines, no pores, just the suggestion of a face. He turned toward me, and I swear to you, I heard my own voice coming out of his mouth. He said, "It's almost time." Then he smiled. My smile. The same twitch at the corner, the same tired crease. He kept walking. I didn't follow. I've stopped sleeping. That part of me is gone. I rest sometimes, sit with my eyes closed and try to remember what dreams used to feel like. But there's no border between waking and whatever's after it now. It's all one long, seamless stretch. No dips, no ends. Just this brightness that never relents. And the strange thing is, I don't miss the dark the way I thought I would. I remember missing it, but I don't feel that ache anymore. I don't feel anything in that place, just a kind of hum inside my ribs, a vibration, like my body's waiting to become something else. I think this is the last chapter. Not because the story ends. No, I don't think it ends. I think it spreads, fades outward like ink in water. What I've been broadcasting all this time, it might not have been for survivors. It might have been a beacon for something else. Or a record, a confession. And if that's true, if someone or something is listening on the other end, if you're hearing this from outside the light, outside whatever we've become, I want you to know. There was resistance. There was memory. There was love. Not much, maybe not enough, but it was here. We tried to hold on. We tried to remember our names. I tried to keep talking even after my voice didn't sound like mine anymore. I think the door's open now. I can feel it, somewhere just behind me. Not a wind, not a pull, just a soft suggestion, like being invited forward. And I don't know if stepping through means ending or beginning, or something in between. But I don't think I get to stay much longer. If you're still out there, close your eyes. Just for a little while. Imagine the stars, even if they're gone. Imagine night, the hush of it, the comfort, Hold it in your chest. Pretend you can still dream. Maybe that's all we ever were. Dreams pretending to be people. I'll sign off now. Or try to. I don't know if there's a signal left too. Cut. This is Cal, WXR Radio. Still here. Still.